Alright, just posting another quick Bible Japanese video. Not going through any Bible verses today, but I just wanted to pass on some things that I saw while going through the last lesson. You probably know, let's say, looking at verse 5 in the English, English is a subject, verb, object language. So in verse 5 here, in the subject, where we're talking about his mother said to the servants, so the verb comes after the subject, where Japanese is a subject, object, verb language, where the verb comes at the end. So here, his mother, in the Shimobe Tache, servants said, so said comes at the end as opposed to where it comes in the English. So that's one thing to keep in mind when doing, reading the Japanese versus the English and trying to translate. And also one other thing in verse 6 here, we hadn't gone through that yet, but sometimes the sequence may not be the same. In verse 6 in the English it says, and there were set there 6 water pots. And if you look at the Japanese, I guess the part about the 6 is way down here at the end. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. You're trying reading the English versus the Japanese or vice versa. And it's nothing to stress about. This is all fun anyway. And I guess one other thing, I just found that it helps, if you want to read something in another language like Japanese, to read something you're already familiar with in English. Say if you're, familiar with the Bible and some of the Bible stories, it's going to help in reading that in Japanese because you're already familiar with it, as opposed to trying to read something totally new or something, in a different field that you're not familiar with. And just also wanted to pass on, this app that I'm. I also wanted to pass on to you about the app that I'm using here on the iPad. It's called the Kougo KJV. It has the King James version in English and the Kougo Yaku version in Japanese. Both of these are in the public domain, which is good, so there's no copyright concerns. This is a free app, so check it out on the App Store. And also, the only one that I found that has the furigana over the kanji, which is helpful for people like myself who are learning to read Japanese. So I just wanted to pass that on to you as well. I don't particularly care for the King James Version translation, but it's in the app, which is helpful, and also in the public domain. Okay, hope this is helpful and useful. Sayonara.